Well, hey, good evening. Welcome back to my little gardening show. It's been a while since we've been out to the garden to make a video. I'll pan the camera around and show you things. Basically, we got a lot of the warm weather stuff's kind of on a downhill slide, especially the tomatoes. There's a little bit of new growth, but most of them are done. We've harvested the bulk of them. There's a few green ones. There's a lot of rotten stuff laying around. We're just kind of letting things go. The peppers have kind of made a resurgence. A lot of them are just super green, lush. We've gotten a lot of rain that's helped here lately. There's probably a few more peppers to pick on the warm or the sweet peppers. Hot peppers, I've got just a boatload of Tabasco peppers that need to be picked, and we're still going to try to make some Tabasco sauce. I think lots of hot peppers. The lima beans are trying to put on another crop. There's another set of blossoms. Don't know if they're going to make it. I don't think they will, because we're probably going to get a frost here in the next couple weeks, probably next 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. Green beans, we got 3 bushels from this late planting that we did back in July, beginning of August. I think we planted some more green beans, so we harvested those. Actually, Dad and the kids harvested them last week. Ended up with about 3 bushels, gave probably 2 of those away altogether because we've got plenty that we can from that first batch that came due on the 4th of July. We've got okra, so I'll show you that here. We've got turnips and some spinach. I harvested the Brussels sprouts and I gave those to my friend Tom over there at Frugal Prepper. He's been doing a lot of car work for me and stuff, you know, changing oil and doing brakes, things like that. Super nice guy, reasonable rates, you know, for like poor guy like me. Relatively poor like me. So anyway, gave him most of my Brussels sprouts. But I'll take you around the garden here. There's a lot of mosquitoes out with all the rain, and I'll pan the camera around just so you can see. Back over here, that dead spot. That was pulled with water, and so there's just a ton of mosquitoes down here. Even though it's really cool, like in the 50s, they're swarming around me. So we'll get going here. All right, so as you can see, the tomato patch is pretty much done. A few stragglers, but I mean, we got a tremendous harvest from these indeterminate tomatoes. I did indeterminate this year as opposed to the Romas last year. I did mostly San Marzanos, some Italian paste on the end, and we got a boatload. I would say we probably pulled a total of, I don't know, at least 8 to 10 bushels of tomatoes out of this patch altogether. I would say it's probably closer to 10. Gave probably about 3 of those away, and the rest we canned. And so got a ton of tomato sauce, had slicers, things like that. Didn't get to share as many with the families as we'd like to, and part of that is because they live a lot farther away from us now, and just they were busy with softball and things like that, so we just didn't connect up with them a whole bunch this past summer. But lots of tomatoes. We've Dad's cleared all the green beans and stuff there. There's our lima bean patch. And like I was telling you with the hot peppers, just a resurgence. They've been putting on more blossoms. There's a bunch of ripe ones. I don't have time tonight to pick them, but I definitely want to come back and harvest some of these, throw them in the dehydrator. You see how green and lush everything is? It's my Tabasco pepper plant. And you can't really, it's more like a bush. I mean, look at that. There are hundreds. Heck, maybe even thousands of peppers there. Easily, probably 1,000 there on that bush. In varying stages. Some are orange, some are a dark orange, red. The challenge of picking these is that they tear away. So like you don't get the caps, so you have to kind of be careful so you don't get you know, your fingers all messed up in hot pepper stuff. And that's a pretty hot pepper. Here's the sweet peppers, again, just like small bushes and trees. A lot of these are approaching like 4 foot tall. Another set of blossoms. So, I mean, we would, if there was time, or we could overwinter these, we'd have another batch of Marconis, or not Marconis, these are Corno di Toro. We've got some red Marconis in here, but here's the green bean patch. Pick through most of them. There's still some more to pick. These are a Blue Lake. Not a ton of bug damage. I mean, they weren't as nice as the batch at the 4th of July. That were the Jade 2. That's my favorite. But these are still a nice bean and not bad at all. Here's the okra. We planted that late. We started that from seed, just dropped them in the ground. And this really grew fast. And there's some okra that's ready to pick. Got some in varying stages, but could definitely pick some okra tonight, if not tomorrow. Most of them 6 to 8 inches. We could have pruned this a little bit, but I mean, it's doing fine. Most of these plants are about 3 foot tall. It's a really impressive growth here. We planted these in August, and within a month and a half's time, they're like small trees here. But the diameter of the stem there is about at least an inch. The brassicas, pretty much, they've all been ripped out. This is the tail end of the Brussels sprouts, which again, we harvested a good chunk, and they got really eaten up by the bugs. And then we got a late crop of potatoes. It will be interesting to see what we get out of that. Actually, these are turnips, or radishes here. There's a late crop of potatoes. And a smaller patch here, or a small patch rather. We did 3 rows. I don't think they're going to be very big, simply because I've not really this second crop of stuff. I only put like 2 rounds of Mittleider fertilizer, or Mittleider weekly feed on them. Other than that, they've pretty much been neglected. Other than what maybe Dad's done, just kind of weeding, and and all the rain that we've gotten is the saving grace that might get us something there. And then over here we've got our turnips, and there's some spinach mixed in. We got our rhubarb, which we didn't harvest any of that this year, at least not yet. I may harvest some yet. So that's pretty much the garden as it stands into September, beginning of October. The county's going to be collecting leaves, I think, starting next week. They're going to collect through October. So we're going to try to get, I think, 2 truckloads or dump truckloads in for this next year to cover the garden and get a cover on this thing before winter. So I guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.